Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're going to get back to the phone lines. How about the Buccos? They head to spring training today, the equipment truck. The Pirates will, pitchers and catchers report, next week, the 12th. First pitchers and catchers workout is the 14th. The first full squad workout is the 19th of February. So it's almost upon us, Gene. Let's go to Bob in Washington. What's up, Bob?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks for calling.
How could anybody really get interested in the Pirates right now after they traded these people away?
I think more people, thanks a lot. Hey, but I think more people are interested in the Pirates than Pitt basketball. But let's move on. Yeah, it's not a good look. I mean, the fans I know are outraged. I think some of the media is, Gene, but they might not be worse off than they were with those two guys. I just don't like the return. I wasn't a big fan of who they got back.
Well, sure, that's the problem. I think Pirate fans knew that at some point McCutchen would be gone, Cole would be gone, but the Pirates never seemed to get anything back. And we've said on this show for a long time that if McCutchen is traded prior to this season, the Pirates will have a real attendance issue. Not that they haven't in the last 2 years. It's dropped off considerably in the last two after the trade of Neil Walker. And dropping off with it has been local TV ratings as well. So, yeah, the Pirates have problems, and they are great.
What's a quick fix to this? I think potentially they could win some of these fans back is if they sign one of these free agents, one of these outfielders, maybe a Gonzalez or someone out there, or a pitcher that is undervalued. To spend some of this money,
well,
maybe like Todd Frazier.
Yeah,
something like that.
Todd Frazier signs with the Mets for $17 million for 2 years, $8.5 million for a veteran third baseman who drives in runs, and yet the Pirates don't seem to be interested in even that kind of player.
Yeah, and what would you say his fair market value was going into this? Like, he was expected to get what, 17, 18 million a year, probably, maybe even more.
Maybe
what he thought.
I think he got less than he thought he was going to get, but still, just to answer our caller's question, how can anybody be interested? There's always going to be certain people who are just interested in going to the ballpark and really don't care what they see, and that's the Pirates are counting on those people really heavily.
Yeah. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. We got Bob in Castle Shannon. What's up, Bob?
Hey, I want to know your opinion on Barry Bonds' number being retired for the Giants.
Yeah, you know what? Gene's a good guy to give his opinion on this. I'll let him take over this question. I know his number will be retired in August against the Pirates out in San Francisco.
Yeah, I have a low opinion of any baseball player who's trying to cheat the game, put himself ahead of the game, ahead of his team, and that, the poster boy for that is Barry Bonds, so I don't like it.
Do you think he started cheating in Pittsburgh, or do you think it all happened in San Francisco?
No, I think it started happening after Mark McGwire was gaining so much attention for his home runs, and then Mark McGwire, of course, was later shown to have been taking steroids. But I don't think Barry Bonds took steroids in Pittsburgh. At least I think you can reasonably say that from the difference in his body in the two places.
All right, let's go up to the phone lines. We got Chris out in Uniontown. How you doing, Chris?
Hello, good night. I have two things. Maybe the Pitt basketball could hire Crane. Maybe they could hire him as a coach. Crane. Coach Crane, remember that guy?
Tom Crane, sure.
Crane, yeah. I mean, I don't know. What has Tom Crean done more than what Kevin Stallings did? I mean, would he bring some excitement back to this program? I know people are talking about Thad Matta. Would he bring excitement? No, I don't think so. I don't know who would. I mean, I think they need to go someone young, fiery. I mean, I think there would be some excitement if they just went up the street and hired Andy Toole.
There might be. There'd be some excitement had they kept Jamie Dixon.
Exactly. They would probably be in a position right now to go back to the NCAA tournament. But
it's interesting. Pitt, under Jamie Dixon, worked itself into a position where it could only win one game in a year that would satisfy its fan base, and that was a regional final. Unless Pitt went to a Final Four, their season was judged to be a complete failure. The Steelers have worked themselves into the exact same position. Steeler fans only want to win one game, an AFC championship game. Anything else is not enough, and anytime they lose, everybody's mad.
And I might take it one step further, an AFC championship against the Patriots.
There you go.
They had to beat.
Right, and then Pittsburgh wants the Steelers to beat the Patriots 40-0 in the championship game. and wants to beat Dallas 50-0 in the Super Bowl. That's the fantasy.
Well, maybe that'll happen next year.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, let's go out to Paul in Mount Lebanon. What's up, Paul?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good, thanks for calling.
I know there's a lot of buzz going on around Le'Veon Bell about threatening retirement if he gets the franchise tag. But you know what? He does come with a lot of issues, injury history, and some off-the-field stuff. But what blew my mind is no one made mention of it thus far. On a sideline at the Pro Bowl, he was interviewed and asked about the Michigan State situation, and he said the coach, Marc D'Antonio, is a stand-up guy. The guy's been covering up rape and sexual assault for 11 years. ESPN pretty much proved that. What do you think about it?
You know what? I'll tackle the whole Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers first part. You know, if they let him walk, it might not be such a bad thing. He's not going to retire. You know, I think that they're going to franchise him. If he wants more than $60 million, is what he says, I don't think the Steelers are going to go that high.
Yeah, as for the Pro Bowl, I've never watched one in my entire life. Certainly a lot of mistakes were made at Michigan State by a lot of people, but I didn't see ESPN's reporting, and I don't know what the football coach may have done or not done in that situation. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of things will come out of what happened at Michigan State, and we'll seem to find out here soon. All right, we're going to take a break. Back to wrap things up coming up next. Stay right there.